sports fans from all around the world. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, the Breakfast Bankroll, East Coast sports investors. From Cape Cod to Cancun, from Tampa to Taipei, from Vegas to the Vatican, we got you covered from opening overnight lines to the public, the contrarian, the shots, the steam. To believe or not to believe? That is the question. But without further ado, my co-host from the Palm Tree State himself, the one, the only, Mr. Scott E. Webb. Scotty, my brother, what is happening?
Hey, good morning, Jeff. It is another Sunday, and we got another week of football here.
Full-fledged fall look here. Like to sleep with the window open, and let's just say it was a little cold this morning. It's fall on Cape Cod, and I really, really love it. We're celebrating my daughter's 18th birthday with a nice family dinner tonight. Got a 20-pound turkey in the oven. We started early. We're doing the Thanksgiving look today, Scotty.
Yeah, it's not living in the north anymore, and been in Florida now for 25 years. I miss the fall. It's 88 degrees here, so I don't sleep with the windows open, and I just make sure that if I'm outside and in the air or whatever, I sit on the back patio with the screen out, because you get the bugs and you got to keep those away, and that way you can sit there and smoke your cigar, relax, and be comfortable.
Well, we had the breakfast bankroll yesterday. We went over some NCAAFs. I got to start with this. It's kind of stupid. Anyone listening right now, you need to go to eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. Go to our website, and up at the top right corner, there's a blog there. Every blog there is time-stamped. As I've stated before, we send out 4 emails to about 25,000 email subscribers on Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So that's 4 a week, and we're wrapping up our 4th week here. We gave out Louisville yesterday against Boston College. We're 12-2, our last 14. And if my memory serves me correctly, we've won 9 in a row. Okay. And so I'll have 1,000 people jump on that today with the Eagles plus 3.5. We bought them earlier this week. That line's dropping, and I think I know why it's dropping. And if it's the reason why, I'm going to puke, because I don't think Darren Wall is going today. He was a late downgrade yesterday afternoon, early evening. And that number's dropping for a reason. He's a big part of their offense. He hasn't been getting the targets that he should be getting, but you got to double team him. He's uncoverable. And I don't have it covered. So I could be taking a huge goose egg there because they got next week off. So it worked out where if he is banged up, they can give him the day off. Give him an extra week and get ready for the second half of the season. And I got Arnold all set for him to move in next week. But Arnold's on a bye this week. So my stomach is killing right now. But college football for the VIP members yesterday. We were on the South Florida money line. Against Temple. The computer model had them 4-point favorites. Everyone knows how bad this team is, and that line kept dropping, and they go box to wire there. We were on Cal against Colorado. They go box to wire there. Our only loss on the college football was La Tech plus 6.5 against UTSA. They jumped out 7-0 and then 10-7. UTSA got it cranked up, and then a pick six really, turned that. And our final play and the win was the Braves plus the 142 last night. So we're back-to-back weeks here, Scotty, graded just individual plays, because we have won some series plays. We have lost some series plays, and I'll get into that later. But 8-3 last week graded, and 9-3 right now this week. So we're absolutely rolling. We're on fire. Anyone interested in trying to, be a part of the VIP experience, either DM me at EC Sports Investor, send me an email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. But thoughts about yesterday, Scotty?
Yeah, my thoughts weren't as good as your thoughts, I think. So here's how my day went. Texas Tech, I was on Texas Tech. Texas Tech gets out 14-0. They have a 14-point lead at halftime, and then they give up a safety, and then the game's over. They lost the game. It was a pick 'em, so they just had to win the game, and I think they lost. I think the score was 25-24. They lost by 1 point. And
I want to just interject quickly. Early this year, that same Texas Tech team I had as a money line just had to win. And my brain's, I'm just trying to replay the tape here. They were up 21-7 as well at halftime. I think it was against Houston, to be honest with you. And Houston scored like 28 unanswered points in the second half. But I apologize.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, that's not, I apologize too, because I played the damn game. So, I mean, it is what it is. And then I had Ohio. I don't play the MAC that often, but I had Ohio plus 5.5. Yeah, and you'll love this. They're down by 10, right? And they have the ball. It's second down from the 3-yard line. So there's only 45 seconds to go in the game. So I'm thinking, okay, they're going to go in, they're going to score a touchdown, and then they're going to do the onside kick thing, and then who knows what's going to happen after that, right? So the head coach for Ohio, timeout. I need a timeout. Runs the damn field goal kicker out from the 3-yard line, kicks the field goal, makes the field goal, and then they do the onside kick. They don't get the ball anyway. So, I mean, what the hell? So I lose that game, and I'm like, holy crap. This is not going good for me. And I was on LSU yesterday, and you saw what happened to LSU. They weren't very good yesterday. So it was an interesting game, that one, in a sense that, LSU goes out and runs for 350 yards against Florida. And then they can't run the ball that well against a team that can't play defense. So it was kind of weird. So that was kind of the way my day went. It was just kind of like, okay, this didn't work out so well. So I'm ready for the NFL today. Well, the only game I was really good at yesterday was I was on the Braves.
And I'm going to talk quickly about the Braves, an amazing story. And the funny thing about baseball is I talk about chemistry. I talk about teams getting hot. We go back a few years ago to the national team who was just a game over 500. And next thing you know, I think that was in late June too. They catch fire. It's all about chemistry and when you're getting hot. On paper, the chalk, once in a while they do come in. But in baseball is that one sport that sometimes it doesn't matter if you have a $300 million payroll or if you have a $30 million payroll. And anyone knows better. That's yourself with the Rays. The Braves lose Acuna. No one in the East wanted to win that division. The Mets held on to that for so long. The Phillies make a run. The Nationals, who we had a couple nice little futures with, ended up, once Schwarber got hurt, they became sellers, and they just crashed and burned. And then the Braves just grabbed the bull by the horns and they took off. And you know what? They have one of the most dynamic and exciting players in the world to watch, and that's Acuna. And I just kind of wonder how, as a business owner, as someone overseeing the business, who this guy deserves every dollar, and he is your franchise, he is your face, and you're in the World Series, and he hasn't played. So what really caught my eyes here, Scotty, is Astros with home field advantage opens up only minus 125 and Atlanta plus 05. There's only one way this number can go, and that's up. And I checked Circa before we went here. Thank you to my buddies at Circa, Derek, Matt, Jeff. Love you guys. It's up to 140 and the Braves plus 120. I'm going to hold out some longer. Hopefully I can get this at 125 or 130. In my eyes, there's only one way you can play this initially, and that's to grab the Braves here with the plus money, and then we will move on from there. Thoughts early about this World Series?
Yeah. We talked about it a little while ago, and we talked about the National League and the American League, and the American League was all offense. And we talked about the National League as being all pitching. When I look at this series, I look at it in a different way to a degree. I look at it from that perspective to start. I think that Houston is all offense, and I know they got a little bit of pitching there from their guys at the end. But they're not the guys that they're not. It's not Charlie Morton going out there. It's not it's not Ian Anderson. It's not it's not these guys that can go out and stifle a good offense. And at this point, this Eddie Rosario guy, I mean he's probably the best player going. It's just kind of like Andy Rosarina last year, right? Where Andy it went crazy and hit all those home runs and did all the stuff for the Rays. The Braves have that same kind of guy right now. So I like their offense to be competitive with the Astro offense, and I like their pitching to be better than the Astro pitching. So I don't think they're going to get outmanaged. I don't think Dusty Baker is going to go and outmanage Snitker. So I like the idea that I think the Braves are very competitive here, and I don't mind that taking the Braves in the series price. And then I'll probably bang them all the time like that. I'll take them in the series price, and I'll take them every time they're an underdog, or even a small favorite if they're playing at home.
It's funny because 2 weeks prior we bang out both NL series with the Dodgers and the Braves, and then this time around we had the Sox plus 125 in the series, but we had the Astro. We don't play every individual game, but we jumped back with the Astros for a unit in game 5 and 6. So we netted 1 unit in the Astro Red Sox series. So then we had the Dodgers after the game 1 loss minus 155 to win the series. And then after they lost game 2, we had them plus 160 on the series price. And that was optional to anyone that wanted to double down, wanted to put a quarter or a half on it to grab the plus money on them. We waited all the way through. We jumped on Atlanta last night, plus the 142. So anyone that just played the Dodgers minus the 155, they got 6 games of action and they lost 13 cents. Anyone that put a quarter or a half on the plus money might have lost a half unit. But that's what we like to do here. Again, you're going to kill yourself trying to pick these games individually. I have no problem jumping on the Braves. It kind of reminds me, Scotty, of the National Series. It really does. An Astros team that, has been there, the ALCS 5 years in a row. They know what to expect. An Atlanta team that hasn't been there forever. It feels like the city's finally got the monkey off their back. Now, this is house money. Just like the Red Sox was. This is house money. And for us, what are you hoping for? We're hoping for a split, the same as we had with the Nationals. But the Nationals go into Houston and won the first 2 games. And so which Houston pitching staff are you going to get? Games 2 and 3 against the Red Sox, or you're going to get the games 4, 5, and 6. So it's going to be exciting. We can't wait. But I guess everyone here watching, listening, they want to talk some football. I guess there's some NFL crap going on today. So I'm going to pull up, we're going to go Wager Talk today. We're going to show everyone the Wager Talk screen and see what we see. As I told everyone here, your freebie from ECSI is on our blog, eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. Hit the blog button in the top right. Eagles plus 3.5. And as you're going to see here, it's dropping to 2, 2.5. But there's the board, Scotty. The floor is yours.
Well, I know it's the NFL, and you're going to get these kind of weeks. There's not a lot of fancy dancy, really fun games to really sit here and go, holy cow, let's get into this game. I mean, down here, Tampa Bay plays Chicago. They're minus 11.5, 12.5. Do you really want to get involved in that stuff? I don't want to get involved in that stuff that bad. So I did some analysis on all the games. I always do that, but I've got a few things that I want to play, and a few things that I already played. And it looks like one of them might be a little different than what I played already. I played the Cincinnati Bengals today, plus 6.5. And I can see that I think that it's not got 6.5 too many more places you can get it. It's dropped to, I think, 6 now. I was going to wait until closer to kickoff and see if it would go to 7, but the information that I was seeing and the stuff that I was looking at kind of indicated that this might happen, that it would go the other way. One of the things that I did this week that I've been able to do now, let me pull up my other folder so I can see what I'm doing. I got too many things in front of my computers. I had this game, and the way I looked at it, I look at these games in a lot of different ways, and one of them, I have 3 different models that pull up numbers for me, and one of them is a points per play model, and the points per play model shows me that this game is pretty much right on that number. It says the game's going to be 23-17. That's what it says. But I usually go by the yards per point model, and the yards per point model says this game's going to be 28-25. So it's going to make it a little bit closer and kind of right in there. And then I kind of use one that's a combination. It's called yards per play. And the yards per play model shows another 28-25 number. So I'm thinking this is going to be a divisional game. It's going to be pretty close. Cincinnati's not won in Baltimore, not played real well in Baltimore. But I think this is a little different team. I think this is a little better aspect of what you're going to see from here from Cincinnati. And the thing that surprised me a little bit, I guess, and maybe it was just me sleeping on them, is the defensive results for Cincinnati. The defensive results for Cincinnati are better than I thought they were going to be. And in fact, they're better on most scenarios than what Baltimore's defense is. And that I don't think I could ever really say for a long time. So I like the idea that Joe Burrow's there. I like the idea that it's going to be a closer divisional type matchup game. At the 6.5, I know that's not a great number. You want to get it to 7. Then I started thinking about teasers and some other stuff with it, and I decided not to go that route. But I like the Cincinnati game. I like them. And currently, when I saw it, I was looking at it, the total was 45.5. And I'm like, you know what? I think this game's going to go over the total. So I bet it separately at over as well. I bet the 6.5, and then I bet the over 45.5. I think that number might not be I think it might be 46 now, right?
I got 46 across the Vegas Strip, according to Wager Talk. And let me just go over here. 45 and a hook at Jazz and at the Mirage, but everywhere else is looking like a flat 46. If you have a 5 Dimes or a Bet Phoenix or even a Horizon account, you also could get it at 45 and a hook.
So that 46 is an okay number. I mean, that's not going to be something that would steer me off of that half a point. That in totals, the key number is 47. So you're still under the 47, so you don't have any issue there. So I'm okay with that. So I played that game that way. I also played Tennessee plus 4.5 against the Chiefs today. Let me pull up my numbers on that game so that you can have those numbers. And where are you? There you are. So this one came out as interesting that I have it at 30-30. My model comes out for the first model, points per play, says it's 30-30. The next model says 31-29 with Tennessee winning. And the next model says 33-30 with Tennessee winning. So And then I'm getting Tennessee today with 4 points. And we're looking at basically the worst offense or worst defenses in football. And then Tennessee's is a little better than Kansas City's, but we're looking at the worst of defenses in football against some of the best offenses in football. And so I decided that I wasn't going to play it on the over because it's just a lot of points. And who knows, maybe one day they wake up and get a couple stops and then all of a sudden you can't get your over. So I just played it. I played it where I'm getting the home dog at 4.5 points with Tennessee. And then the only other play, I made 2 other plays, but one of them is a teaser play. I liked New England, and I got a 6.5 point teaser minus 130. So it's New England minus a half a point, and I paired that with Green Bay minus 2 points. So I like that one a lot. And then the last play that I made was on the Sunday night game, Indianapolis and San Francisco. I like that game to go over 42 points.
At ECSI here, I want to make this clear to everyone listening right now, okay? We use multiple sources, a handful of pay sources, and also a couple free sources, okay? So we pay Don Best. We pay Sports Insight to have their spreadsheets, their information. We use Wager Talk, which is free, wagertalk.com. I'm always applauding them. It's one-stop shopping. Everything right there. You click, you go. And we're trying to add pregame.com to our resume as well. Okay. But this is something that irks me. Okay. Someone wakes up today, hasn't done any homework, that's going to try to follow ticket counts and money coming in, and then try to base this upon, okay, is it reverse line movement? Is it steam? What is it? So where I'm going with this is very simply, if you look here at that Kansas City, Tennessee game, okay, it's showing you that the opening number was -3, -115. You're seeing it going to 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay. The opening line there was 5.5. It wasn't 3. Okay. So it was actually 5.5. It's gone down to 4. It's gone down to 3.5. Okay. And let me see. Actually, I'm sorry. It went from 5.5 to 5 to 4.5. Now it's a flat 4. And that is huge. Okay. Meaning this, when you're trying to read a spreadsheet and you're trying to take in ticket count versus money, and is it less tickets, more money? Is it just, more tickets, more money? The line's moving in the right direction. In that game here, I'm seeing 55% of the tickets are coming in on Kansas City. Well, where's the money coming in? Okay. So you have to evaluate that. But if you just woke up this morning, you said, okay, well, the line opened at 3 and now it's at 4. Therefore, it's a false. In other words, they're showing you wrong information here. That's my point here. Okay. And that's why we use so many sources. It's almost like a checks and balance system. That's all it is. And I just had to vent right there because when I took another look at that, I'm like, nah, okay. The line, opening line wasn't 3. That's all.
Yeah. It's, I guess the best way to say this is that if you're going to do market analysis and line movements, you need to know where the market starts. You don't walk in the middle and go, oh, it started here. Well, it didn't start there. So I guess, I heard this somewhere and I can't remember where I heard it now, but it's breaking news every time there's a line movement, because every line movement means something, somewhere, some way, somehow. You got to figure out what it is. Later in the week like this, it can be because of the injury report. It could be because who's not playing. It could be because, I don't know, in Buffalo, it's blowing 30 miles an hour wind or something. It could be a lot of different things. Or it can be what we try to figure out is who's making these bets, and that creates line movement. How much volume is coming in on certain things. what does the sports book need to have happen? Because if you can figure out what the sports book needs, you can figure out what the line is. Because if the sports book needs money on a certain side, they're going to make it so that you can put the money on there and make sense. So that's where that kind of walking into this and thinking that you're an expert line reader and market understanding person, when you're walking into it halfway. I understand the frustration, because the truth is, if you've been watching it since Sunday or Monday night or Monday morning, whenever you get your line, the truth is you don't know, because the sharps have already moved the money at the beginning, and then you got to figure out where it goes from there, right? So I mean, that's how it works.
I am so glad you brought that up. I really am, because that's a separator. That's a game changer. And that's what we do. As we are breaking down today's NFL games, Circa is releasing their college games to their shops right now, and they're setting the market. Okay. So they already sent out their early lines to the shops. They can bet up to 2 times per game. And now they're going to let their shops and their consensus move those lines to where the actual number is. So on Monday, a morning, when you get your opening number, okay, let's just say, I don't know, let's just, for poops and giggles, say Alabama and Auburn. They released Alabama at 13 and a hook. Well, their shops just pounded the crap out of it. And you're going to see that number at 16 and a half or 17. And but these guys will be putting their chests out and say, well, I got Alabama at 13 and a half. And when the reality is, the public's only going to see it at 16 and a half or 17. Sports Insight. We've been with them since day one. And a good thing with Sports Insight, again, is we get the weather report. So whenever there's a weather alert for us, like right here, we went to the the Green Bay game. Mostly cloudy throughout the football game. Starting temperature at 47, 52 by the fourth quarter. Wind, not a factor. 7.7 miles to start the game. But the reason there's an alert is when it gets to the second half, it's going to be between that 9.5 and 10. So then it gets a little tricky. Again, it's not ground shaking or, oh my God, I got to go with the under, because trust me, this is like a layup for Rodgers with 10-mile-an-hour winds in Lambeau Field. But again, this is one of the gifts that we get using Sports Insight, is information like that. And as I read, Sterling Shepard is out. Anyone in the fantasy land that has Sterling Shepard, he is officially out. And I've been asked that question for the last 45 minutes. So anyone that has Sterling Shepard, get him out. He gone. But again, anyone with questions on which sites to use, again, I backed On Best. I backed Sports Insights. I didn't say the Action Network. I said Sports Insights. And wagertalk.com is free. Jump on them. I enjoy them. And take a look at the pregame.com. Again, that's free as well. There's a lot of places to go. And it's all about what you trust. Now, we're coming up on our 6th full year. We've sifted through the madness. We don't know what to trust, what not to trust. So you got to be comfortable with the information that you're processing. And sometimes it's just a gut feeling. Something doesn't smell right. And you just make a couple notes and you follow the rats. And you just say, okay, I didn't trust this. I'm not playing it, but let's see how it plays out. That's all. And as you know, on your side, you must go through numbers and processes, and you get those same feelings as well.
Yeah, I think it's easy for people to say, well, where do I get the numbers from? And then they go pull up ESPN or NFL.com or wherever they go, and they get their generic numbers. But what does that tell you? I mean, it doesn't tell you anything about a strategy to make bets on. And then what numbers are you looking at? I use different outlets and different things, and one of the ones I like is Football Outsiders, and I like to use their DVOA numbers because that's almost like baseball with WAR numbers or whatever other numbers you want to kind of use. It's a sabermetric kind of number because it analyzes success based off of plays and how it relates to actually winning games and scoring points as opposed to just, a batting average or whatever. So There's the other ability that I like, and I've got I talk about EPA a lot, and one of the things that I like about the NFL or even college, but college less so, because the in college it really matters upon who the teams are playing. Um, because you can't just go and say, okay, well, how if they played 7 games, the first 2 don't matter. Let's see how they're doing over the last 5. That doesn't matter, because you need to know who those last 5 were. Because in college football, they could be playing, San Jose State or somebody like that, and now they're playing Ohio State or someone, and there's no comparison between the 2 teams. But in the NFL, you have comparison every. I mean, I mean, I get it. The Jets are terrible and all that stuff, but they're still better than a college football team. So, yeah, your variable. I like to move around, because you want to see the improving teams and the declining teams, and you want to bet on those improving teams, and you want to bet against the declining teams. And you want to be able to figure out who's on the moving up and who's not, right? So at the beginning of the year, my Tampa Bay Bucks down here, right, they couldn't stop nobody. They were scoring. They had to score almost 40 points to win these games. They don't do that anymore. They're playing better defense. So they're a team that, even though they have a lot of wins, they're a team that is on the incline because they're playing better. And then you got to look at these and you just go, okay, what about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Are they any good? Well, I don't think they're any good, but that doesn't mean that they might have these little windows where you find the opportunities to make these bets on them. So Kansas City is a perfect example of that. Everybody still thinks Kansas City is great because when they go look them up, they got one of the best offenses in football. And that's true. I mean, there's nothing you can say that they don't. But what you're really not paying attention to is that if you can't stop anybody in the NFL and you're going to try to outscore all these teams, you got to realize that the other side of the football, they got good offenses and they can score points. And in this particular matchup, Tennessee's got a guy that could run 400 yards on them today or something. Who knows? I mean, that guy's a monster for them. So, and Tannehill's not like the worst quarterback in the NFL. I mean, if I go look at the number real quick, I bet he's probably somewhere in the middle. Obviously, you got to figure that Patrick Mahomes or whatever is going to be, he's going to be the best guy. But here they are. I pulled up the numbers, and Tannehill is blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, he's 20th. So that's pretty close to being in the middle, but he's still a little bit below. Mahomes isn't number 1 on this list. It's actually Kyler Murray, and this is EPOA plus CPOE. Now, CPOE is completion percentage above expected. So when you're looking at these numbers, you're just looking at how efficient your quarterbacks are and where to go with them. And I like to do that because I think it's amazing what value people put in certain numbers that they see and where they are. So let's just say, now with the rules that they have in the NFL, and you got a guy he's throwing 60% completions. Is that any good? Well, hell no, it's not any good. You need to be at 70% completions or better. Or what's the context around those things, right? So you just got to figure out what you're looking at, why you're looking at it, and what does it mean to the analysis of a football game or the game that you're doing. And then even when you've done all that stuff and you come out with what you think the game result should be, you need to compare that to what the market's doing, because this is the tricky part about the NFL or football bets and or basketball bets. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters, but I mean, if you come out and you say, okay, here's what I think is going to happen, the score of this game is going to be X, Y, and Z, and then you go and millions of people who are betting into this market says this is going to happen, are you really going to be smarter than those millions of people? It depends on what you're looking at. So So you've got to understand how all that works. And then where do you put your trust and why do you do that? So that's the difference between, and then I guess the best way, we talked about one day after the show. You have to, like, if you're in my position, and I talk about EPA and I talk about certain things and I talk about EV, right? We talk about that and we laugh about it some. If you, as a professional handicapper, cannot describe what an extra value is and what that extra value percentage is, and you can't go and say, this team has a 2% edge over the line or a 10% edge over the line, and then explain what that is, then you're not an EV handicapper. You're just a guy using the damn words. And the truth becomes, most of these guys that you're going to hear these statements from, they're going to be the guys that use the words because, okay, well, I did this trend analysis and this is where I found out this has more trends than that trends and they're EV positive. That's not the way it works, guys. It's just not. You need to have a number, and your number needs to be more right than the line that is being bet by millions of people. And then you got to go, this is a 2.5%, 3% edge to that line, and then be right. That's EV positive. And not many people can do that. So don't let them fool you. Don't let them tell you all this bullshit about closing line value and all that shit. Because closing line value is important. Because you don't want to be betting against what's going on in the market. But it doesn't mean shit. Anyway, that's my ramble.
You're 100% correct. And we talk off the air a lot of times, and it irks the crap out of me where a handful of these guys on social media, and I don't know why it irks me, because they think they are God, they are law, it's their way or the highway. And the fact that, again, that they're nailing 10, 15, 20 bets as we're talking right now, it's circa because of exactly what you just talked about. You talked about, you have your own power rankings. They have their own power rankings. So they have their set numbers. So when they're going to the window at Circa, Westgate, wherever, before the public gets these numbers, and it's a fish in a barrel. And to them, it doesn't matter, by the way, Scotty. Obviously they want to cash that ticket, but they know long-term, if they're getting that value in the long term, that they're going to win. That's all. So they can hold up all those tickets, Alabama minus 13.5. And, it gets to the market at 16.5, closes at 17.5, and Alabama wins by 10. A couple weeks ago, I bet maybe a month ago, Alabama versus Ole Miss. And our friends at Circa posted a number of 20. The first 15 bets were all max bets on Ole Miss. They know they created, it was a wrong number, but they took the bets, they ate crow, and then they put it out to the public at 14.5. Alabama covered the 20, people. Alabama covered the 20. So they were right. And it doesn't have, it goes back and forth. But I agree with you 100%. But that's why we're here. We're here to educate. We do entertain once in a while. We'll crack a joke here and there, but that's why we're here. We're trying to help you guys. We're trying to give you as much information as possible, and we're trying to answer as many questions as possible. So don't be shy. We don't bite. But it's another NFL Sunday. I'll close with this. Again, opening numbers mean so much to us. And if they opened up Houston minus 150, 155, 160, that pendulum can only go one way. Braves, and Braves. They opened it up, in my eyes, at 125 for a reason, because there's only one way that number's going to go. 130, 135, now 140. So we'll talk a lot more tomorrow and Tuesday before the first pitch. But for today, people, thank you so much for watching. It's been another great week here. Come follow us at EC Sports Invest, at Webby20MLB. Go over to Twitch, YouTube at EC Sports Invest or East Coast Sports Investors. Subscribe, turn on the notifications. You'll never miss a show. Always Always, always, if you're wagering today, wager with your head, not your heart. If you have a problem, pick up that phone. There's an 800 number. And we look forward to seeing you next week, meaning tomorrow, and next month, meaning next Monday in November already, Scotty. 2 months and 1 week left in 2021. It's been an amazing year, and we look forward to 2022. So from myself and Scott, have a blessed day. Best of luck with your wagers, and enjoy the day. Enjoy Family Day. Have some fun with it, and we will see you tomorrow.